Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we are after market close on Wednesday, November 3rd. We're going to take a look at Paysafe today. So Paysafe, if you didn't see my last video we were sort of postulating, speculating whether or not it was sort of looking for a trend reversal. And in my opinion, it still is moving in that direction. So we see this gap here has basically filled it at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if it kind of comes back for more, but the most important thing to my mind is it's continuing to follow this uptrend support. Now, this definitely is not to say that it's out of the woods, because if you see, for example, it doesn't look so dissimilar from what we saw here, right? I'm not going to leave this on for very long, but we see a red candle, a green candle, basically forming a double bottom, and then a pretty solid move up, and then a draw, a retracement back down, and then trying to build, and then just falling right through, and then falling quite a bit further. So I definitely wouldn't say that it's out of the woods yet. And I think the other thing that I would say that potentially gives me a little bit of caution on this reversal potential is to reverse trend. I would really, really like to see it build a base first. I don't super love this, like, have this incredibly long-term downtrend and then just hit a couple of candles, the double bottom, and then start, building yourself a trend line support upward. To me, that's like much less common to really play out. So it wouldn't be the worst in my mind if it didn't end up following this trendline support and actually kind of pinned itself maybe between this 748 and 829 zone and just kind of range bound itself for a little while. And I'm sure if you're long in the stock or if you have call options or something, you may not want to hear that. But I do think that that is probably the more realistic path for this to build a base, say this is the floor, and now we're going to go from here, and we're going to start to move up from here. We've seen it definitely be range bound several times, but it's always broken that range to the downside, right? But anytime it's done these sort of like, okay, I'm going to try to just flip it, and I'm just going to try to move up right here. I mean, so many examples, right? No building of a base, just kind of like, okay, and I'm going to go up now. It just always fails. So I know this is a little bit of a departure from what the bulls would want to hear, and it certainly could walk up this yellow uptrend support line. That could absolutely happen, but I would, this is just me saying, it wouldn't be the worst case in the world in my mind if it were to build a base between this 829 and 749 or 748. That to me could be a really solid way for this to begin to move, but we'll have to see. I guess the other possibility here, if it is actually able to make a solid, strong move into the nines, you could also have a view of this as like a cup and handle, right? That it's going to come up for like a cup here and then maybe put in a handle toward that 886 level and then make a good move up. So, there's that potential as well. If I cover SoFi a lot, and SoFi has had this cup and handle going. This didn't really spend a bunch of time building a base. This kind of came down and then just started walking up, right? This started walking up, and that's obviously played out really well. And this ended up putting in this kind of a cup formation. So that would end up not looking so dissimilar if it did it here, right? So that could absolutely happen as well. I think that's sort of another good option. Build a base or build a cup, and that cup should top out around 940, 942, something like that, maybe 930, and then put in the handle down to about, $9, maybe just below $9, because that $9 is probably going to play a bit of a psychological level as well. So that might be where it wants to put the handle in, and that would be a pretty solid percentage retracement given the low price of the stock. If it came down from about 940 to 9 to put it in the handle and then just kind of went for it. But if it doesn't stop at 9, it has that 886 there to stop it, and and if not 829. But I'd want to look and see how much of a retracement 829 would be at that point. But if and when we get there, we could take a look. But those to me are the best options. Like I said, it could still continue to walk up here, but that may then almost just end up looking like a cup anyway. But we'll have to see. But I do think the motion right now is still a good one in either of those outcomes. Build a base or put in a cup. So that's what I'm looking for at the moment. And I don't necessarily think that there's much more to update on than that. So if it breaks this uptrend support, what I would basically say is let's at least hold 748 to 829 and let's put in a base. If it does continue to move up through that, then I would say, okay, let's put in a cup and then let's put in a handle and let's go and make that run through this gap, right? Which would put it up to about 1015, 1020, something like that. On the indicator side of things, if we just want to do that for funsies while we're here, MACD sort of doing a little bit of a head fake there, but still staying with the bullish crossover, approaching the baseline, making a series of higher lows here and higher highs here. So that's continuing to play out pretty well. It'll need a stretch if it wants to make a higher high than this one. It's sort of right on par with that at the moment. RSI side of things, fighting with the midline at the moment, right? That's what we were talking about before, fighting with that 50. It's going to get stuck under the 50. Can it truly make a solid move up over it? Or, what's going to happen? I don't know what's up. The Webull desktop app has been having the RSI disappear and then reappear lately for whatever reason. So that's what I look for on those ends of things. With the EMAs, it's building support over the 12, sort of fighting with the 34. Next thing would be the 50, and if it's able to get support over those, then we'd look for these to start flipping, right? Bullish crossover the 12 above 34, bullish crossover 12 above 50, bullish crossover 34 above 50, and then everything would be sort of in a bullish formation and it would start to kind of flip the script a little bit. And then lastly here, I take a look at the Ichimoku cloud. So Ichimoku cloud here with the conversion line, I know this gets a little bit tough to see with this gold colored conversion line on top and this yellow baseline at the bottom. So what, we kind of want to watch out for here is that this gold line doesn't cross below the yellow line. It's considered a strong sell signal. And if we do get that strong sell signal, I'd be looking to see if this uptrend support could catch it or if that 748 could catch it. But, best case scenario here, it just catches some either sideways action or some steam and starts to push its way through this cloud. So it might get some extra resistance at the bottom of this cloud as well. But we have to see. But yeah, definitely the worst case scenario here is that it throws this strong sell signal, because with the price situated below the cloud, that crossover is considered a pretty strong signal. We have to see. And just because it is a strong signal and it does sell, like I said, that doesn't mean that it couldn't catch it on this uptrend support for the time being or at the 748 level, which might then make it just look more range bound and building a base than anything. But time will tell. But those are the things that I'm sort of on the lookout for at the moment. On Ortex side of things, nothing really interesting to look at here other than the updated short interest, but not much to see here, to be honest, which is a good sign, I think, for Paysafe. It doesn't need the distorted selling pressure of short sellers coming in hot and heavy and pushing the price down further, making it appear as though the selling pressure is a lot higher than it actually is. So days to cover coming down almost 20%, so that's really good. Shorts are coming in and then leaving relatively quickly, so that's helpful. Cost to borrow and utilization both quite low. 6.66% short interest percentage of the free float right now, so pretty far away from 10%, which is where I start to think that it sort of throws things askew and makes it appear as though there's more selling pressure than there is. The shorts actually closed up shop more than entered today, so minus 1.38% per Ortex estimates today. So they drew things down a little bit. So if things start to move in that direction, I think that's certainly a positive factor for Paysafe, which does not need, in the vast scheme of things, if you look at this picture, any more selling pressure than it already has had. All right, folks, that's my view of Paysafe for the time being, and I'd be happy to continue to do updates as things evolve. I hope you had a good trading day on this hump day and that you're able to finish the week off strong in the days ahead. And as always, I appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.